it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. We got handles on these glasses.
We don't drink out of mugs too often.
No, we don't. This is the first time in a long time. If I don't know, someone watched the last 6 or 7 years of our videos and kind of.
When was the last time we had mugs?
Yeah, that's a trivia question for somebody
explain.
out there. Please don't do that. So anyway, we have a beer in front of us. It's another Mike beer, which is like 2 weeks in a row. It's like
Closing the year strong.
crazy. All right, so what is this beer? And tell me more. Tell me it's another project, please.
So, well, sort of. So this is part of a project we already started. This is my brew sheet says Munich Dunkel, but really what I was going for is a dark lager.
Dunkel.
A Dunkel. This beer is a continuation of the quote-unquote warm lager ferment with the Weinstefaner, the W3470 from Lallemand, right?
Yep,
so I made that golden lager that was fermented at like 75 or worse,
nice.
right? And we're like, okay, this one now fermented closer to like 62 because now the basement's really cooled off. So fermented at 62.
Yeah.
This one I never lagered it. I never put it in the fridge like I did the golden lager because it was pretty cool the whole way.
Yep.
The other thing too, which is, it's in these mugs because this is I don't have any proper lager glasses, but this beer is my dream of having some
Christmas
sort of Dunkel
present.
is to have some sort of darker red fest beer type of beer. And the golden lager is really more of a fest beer, but this, we're going to call this a fest beer because I want to. So the other thing too is this beer isn't terribly clear because I forgot to add my Werflock. But I'm going to probably fine it in the keg so that in the next week or so it'll probably drop clear.
Are you going to use gelatin to find it?
I will fine it with gelatin. And the reason why I forgot the Werflock is because this beer and the beer that we drank last week, the stout, this was a double brew day. It happened all at the same time. This beer actually was brewed first. I've recently moved my brewing operations from the patio back to the garage. And when I did that, I had moved all my stuff and whatever. So the first beer happened, which was this, and then I had to get the second beer going while I was doing the chill on this beer. And somewhere during the transition, I just forgot to put the tablets of Werflock in here. But anyway, enough of those stories. Let me give you the recipe.
Jeez.
Do you want a recipe?
Yes, I'd like to hear more about what's in this beer.
So this beer is
Not the Werflock.
So it starts with Camden tablet. This one's got 1 ml of lactic acid because I needed that to get the pH down.
Okay.
2.3 grams of gypsum. So this time it's calcium sulfate, because I really want to try to bring up a lager-like hop character. And in about 4.5 gallons of mash. So that's like a 65 ppm of calcium and 80 ppm of sulfate. So the basic recipe, it's 6 pounds of Dingemann's Pils. I love that Pils malt. 6 pounds of Avant-Garde Munich Light, which is a 6 Love. Now this is where it gets a little bit non-traditional, but it's 8 ounces of Valley Malting, which is a local craft maltster around here, of chocolate rye.
Hey, chocolate rye.
Chocolate rye, trying to find a way to get to the chocolate rye.
How many pounds do you still have? 50 pounds of that stuff?
I've got at least 9 pounds of chocolate rye left. And 2 ounces of Carafa Special II.
All right.
So the chocolate rye, just half a pound, and a little bit of Carafa Special is just to try to get the color darker. But the flavor should all be Pils and Munich, right? I haven't even tasted it yet.
I'd say you nailed
So it's
that.
an ounce of Horizon at 60 minutes. That's a 8% alpha acid. 2 ounces of Tettnang at 15. Another ounce of Horizon at 5 minutes because that's what I had and I wanted to use them up. And those are the closest things I had to some noble-like hops. I mashed this sucker at mash temp was 1 something. That should be close enough, right, everybody?
Sure.
Where is it on my brew sheet here? Mash temp. No, that's the strike temperature. I didn't actually write down what I got. I know I mashed this at like 148, 149-ish. Where is it on here? I missed it. Anyway, let's drink some beer.
Yeah, man, I think that it certainly nailed it with the, this has a nice Munich malt profile. It's interesting, that's a 6 Love.
Yeah.
Which, I think that it's certainly hitting all the right malt notes.
Yeah.
And then nice hoppy background to it, and certainly,
There's not really much hop presence on the nose.
not on the nose,
that I was really going
but
for
it's in
it,
the flavor. and it just has lagery qualities to it. I think that there's a crisp finish to it.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's got a good finish, and there's a little bit of a hop finish to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it might be a little bit of that
That's good.
chocolate rye flavor coming through. I really wasn't trying to get that chocolate malt flavor coming through,
Yeah.
but I think it gives you a little bit of toastiness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Wow, I'm pretty pleased with this.
Yeah.
This is actually, I aside from crash carbonating it today,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
this is really the first time I'm getting some drinks off of it. It's pretty
Needs a
good.
little more carbonation.
A little bit more carbonation, but you know what? I tend to carbon on the lower side when I have my preference. Yes, it needs more carbonation, but I like the way it's drinking.
Yeah, I think with a couple more weeks of conditioning, it's gonna really pop in terms of its crispness too. Crispness.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So, so this is, you said, is a project.
So anyway, so I think, so there's definitely a difference in the fermentation character of this versus the last beer.
the golden lager.
Yeah. The golden lager, I don't know if it was so much fermentation character or just the yeast the beer sitting on the yeast for as long as it did at a warmer temperature. Like, I don't know if that's the detriment, because that beer sat for like about 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks. This has been in the fermenter for the same amount of time. So this is about 4.5, 5 weeks on the yeast, but it's cooler, right? I tend to, often stuff sits in fermentation longer than I need it to, rather than I want to, just because I don't get back to it. But I don't think that this has that character. So I think, despite the fact that it's not lager fermented, right?
Yep.
I think it came out pretty nice. So I guess for me, the take home for this is, at least for me, more experimentation is needed. But the W3570, I wouldn't let it go up to 75 degrees. I would try to keep it in that 65 range, which is really probably where a lot of people also do like US05, Chico, right? And like the 65, 68 range, right? So this seems to be working there. It's pretty clean, pretty nice. Maybe it'd be fun to do something more of an ale type recipe with this yeast at 65 and just see, or do a side by side with the US05 or something and just see how it tastes.
I think that'd be great, because I think that we would definitely taste the difference between an ale yeast and this one. I think that it would be more estery on the ale yeast side. That's just like my perspective of it, just based on the couple of beers you've brewed with that strain.
Yeah. By the way, this was, I forgot to mention that the starting gravity of this was 1056 and finished at 1010, so it's about 5.5%. So this is, I mean, it drinks really nice.
Yeah,
it's very easy drinking.
Sure does. And it's funny, like it has that hybrid beer type profile too. Like I could, if you were to say like, this is my version of an alt that's not as malty as an alt.
Yeah.
I'd say like, oh yeah, I can totally taste it.
I think to make this recipe drink more like an alt, it just needs maybe 15% more IBUs, I think.
Yeah.
Just needs a little bit more bitterness.
Yeah, I mean.
Right? But, I don't really go for that in the beers that I brew. When I'm trying to brew these house-ish styles, beer's meant to be drunk. Drinking and drunken. Drunken. So yeah, I like this. This is going to be good in the lineup for finishing out the year with some of the gatherings that come to.
You mean like
Shea Studio, Brew Dudes Studio D, whatever this is, right?
On New Year's Eve, is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
How many different beers are you going to have for New Year's Eve?
All the beers.
All the beers.
No, the goal is to have 4 on the board.
Yep.
There's a couple of kegs. I mean, if anybody wants to drink 10.5% stout, that will be available. But then I'm also going to chill down some black plum sour, golden sour. There is some cherry sour hidden in there I can be persuaded into. So there'll be bottles available, but I'm going to try to have 4 beers on the board.
Nice.
Which means I need to brew the next 2 beers like really soon.
Yeah.
But I know what they are, and I have the ingredients. I just need find the time. But I've got the time because I've already checked out at work. Don't tell anybody at my office. I've checked out already.
Okay, so now
they know this. I told them I will be there physically.
I was going to say.
But mentally, I'm here.
Now that Brew Dudes is Mike's full-time job, please subscribe to our channel. Like our video if you like it. Please watch the ad if it rolls. Poor Mike's family is starving, and he
need to eat.
He needs to eat.
We'll have plenty of beer, though.
Liquid bread for the family. All right, for John and Mike, brewdasters.com, brew on.
Cheers.